parsha opens up with a very painful moment in Avram's life. He had just surmounted the impossible, accomplished the greatest of all the nisyon of the 10th test to Avram, which was the Akedat Yitzchak. And he returns home triumphant, if you will, not with Yitzchak by his side. Yitzchak and he parted ways. And Avram comes home, perhaps to tell his wife what happened about his exploits. And he comes home and he finds Sarah Imenu is not alive. She's on the floor of the kitchen. Lo Aleinu, she's passed away. And the Medrash tells us, and Rashi cites, that Vayavo Avraham mi Beersheva. He come from Beersheva, lispod l'sarav livkosa. He went to cry for her because she died. And Rashi says, Nismacha misa Sarah l'Akedes Yitzchak. The death of Sarah is written right next to the Akedes Yitzchak, because when he went off to do the Akedes Yitzchak, Sarah, who was a prophetess of the highest order, was informed either by an angel or prophecy in some way that Avraham went off to perform the Akedah, to bind Isaac onto the altar and to ultimately make the sacrifice. Before she could learn what had happened, before she could learn the results, she had fainted and died. And it seems from a simple reading of this Medrash that ultimately Avram goes off to do the Akedah, and that's the reason why Sarah Imenu passes away. Rabbi Yonah actually notes that the 10th Nisayon, when the Chazal tells in Pirkei Avos that there were 10 Nisyonos, 10 tests that were issued to Avram, the 9th one was the Akedah, the ultimate one, was burying Sarah, not because it was difficult to bury Sarah, but because imagine coming home thinking you've accomplished something great and then realizing that after doing what you did, listening to God, Sarah Imenu dies as a result. Like you can't win. There's a stunning parush from the Nesiva Shalom who notes that we've pointed out that the kaf is a kaf ze'ira, the little kaf in livkosa, to cry for her. The eulogy that Avram delivers for Sarah is not an extended eulogy. It's a very small kaf. It's a small cry. It's not a major cry. And he wonders, why is it that he's crying so little for his wife, who's now 127 years old? His wife for so many years, she's been with him by his side, she's been through everything, and Avram can't muster a proper eulogy. He lets a little cry out, and he goes home. Why can't he cry properly? And the Slonimer Rebbe suggested that the reason Avram doesn't cry in an over-accentuated manner, the reason he doesn't go all out, is because it would be inappropriate to do so. Not only did she live a full life, but also he would indicate that his grief was perhaps the result of his own sense of guilt for having gone forward with the Akedah. He didn't want it to look as if the reason why he's crying is because she died prematurely. She died before her time. She wouldn't have died at 127 had I not gone for the Akedah. In reality, explains the Nesiva Shalom, Sarah died exactly when she was supposed to die. But the Malach HaMavis made it look as if her death was the result of Avram going and doing the Akedah. Sometimes the Yetzer Hara works like that. The Yetzer Hara wants us to think that when we do mitzvahs, when we follow the right path, that after the fact, we regret doing so. He notes that there are two kinds of Yetzer Haras. There's the Yetzer Hara before we decide to do something, tells you not to get up in the morning, go to minyan, not to give tzedakah because it's too expensive, not to help out a friend because who wants to help them, not to do something nice because they don't deserve it. Right? That's the Yetzer Hara beforehand. And then, as we say in Hashkivenu, we say in the prayer at Marav, Haser Satan milfanenu macharenu, remove the Satan before us and remove the Satan after us. The Satan after us is the one who, once we've performed a good deed, he taps us on the shoulder and says, hey, why'd you do that? Look what happened now. You went to minyan, now you got a traffic ticket. You went and you gave tzedakah, and now you yourself are short on rent. You shouldn't have done that mitzvah. You went and helped a friend out, and they didn't appreciate it. They didn't say thank you. They went and stabbed you in the back after you went and were so good to them for so many years. Why'd you go and do a mitzvah? The Yetzer Hara before a mitzvah tells us not to do it. The Yetzer Hara after a mitzvah tells us, why did you do it? Avram was unaffected by that type of influence. Avram gladly went with Zrizos early in the morning to perform the Akedah. And when he came back and found out that it was possible that through his actions, Sarah fainted and lost and as a result died, he did not regret it for a single second. He had absolute, resolute faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that Sarah lived 127 years, a full life, uninterrupted, unadulterated, not truncated. And so his cry for her was appropriate, but not over the top. Not to express so as not to express the notion that he had caused in any way or regretted in any way what he had done by the Akedat Yitzchak. I want to thank you very much and have a wonderful Shabbos.